Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to this brand new behind the scenes video. This is actually not very common for the behind the scenes channel, but I'm just going to just draw. Because I got this cool little Wacom tablet where I can kind of like draw on screen for you guys. I'm getting used to it, but we'll see how it goes. So I wanted to just teach you guys a few things about how to get started with content and what content really is. Okay, so a lot of you guys that are starting off, the main focus is just content, right? You're like, how can I post more content? This is all you're focusing on. Just content, just content, just content. But the truth is, content has a certain purpose, right? Content is a traffic generation tool. That's what it is. Traffic generation, that's the majority that content does, especially short form content. That's what it does. Is it's just traffic generation. Now, short form content has kind of it's got a few good like traits to it. This is for like I'm just going to write short form content, right? Short form content has it's really good for traffic. So traffic it's really good. It's really good for getting kind of like new eyeballs, right? So new eyeballs, new people introduced to your brand, it's really good at that. However, it's really bad at nurturing and like getting people introduced to who you really are as a person. So when it comes to creating content, a lot of you people are focusing on different pillars, right? Like you're focused on like, okay, I need, I need the pillar one is like, you know, broad content about my personal life, right? So broad, it's like more personal. And then I don't know why I'm at such an angle. That's because I'm like drawing like this. But broad content about your personal life. Maybe pillar two is more like sell content, right? Maybe you've got another pillar three, which is more like um, let's say it's kind of like nurturing, like solve content, right? And I'm going to teach you, like, of course, on this video, my way of going about things. But a lot of you people are focusing on all of this stuff down here, right? Let me just change the color here. All of you people are focused on this. But it's a lot of BS, especially for people that are under 20K a month. A lot of you guys, when it comes to short form content, are overthinking it just for what it is, which is just there to get traffic and new eyeballs. That's the majority of what short form content does. Okay? That's pretty much the main thing. When it comes to ads, when it comes to that's all it does, get new traffic. Now, let's look at the kind of bigger like picture, I guess, right? So let's look at the bigger picture. Let's go back to black. Um, so we've got our short form content right here, and then we've got other different things. So we've got stories, and then we've got long form content. Long form content. Now, these are really good for nurturing. Okay? So we've got our short form content. Let's just say the short form content is just for traffic generation. So short form content is like ads and stuff like that. And then we've got our long form content and our stories for nurturing. Now, a lot of people within the space, they're just focused on short form content, on this. And they're focused on all of these pillars to nurture. But that's not really what short form content is for. It's not for really nurturing and getting people like used to who you are. That's actually what this stuff is for. Long form content and stories, that's the thing that's really going to get people to understand who you are. And we could even add a kind of third section in here, which is DMs, right? Because you can also get to know people in the DMs, right? That's also kind of a part of the nurturing side of things is getting people to see you in the DMs, voice messages, back and forth. That also is a lot of nurturing. So we've got our long form content, which is like, let me just go to red, which is YouTube, right? One YouTube video a week is YouTube. Getting used to this pen still. We've got YouTube, and then we've got our story sequences. Let me do this in a different thing. So we've got our stories, and this is like our sequences. And then we've got our DMs. And this is kind of like pretty much like the conversion aspect. This is like the sales thing, right? Now, what do most people do? Most people focus on short form content and DMs. They completely forget story sequences, they completely forget YouTube. And because of that, firstly, like they don't have people hopping on calls with them, if they do, that are super warm. They're kind of like, hey, I don't really know what you do, but I saw this and you texted me and said you have this crazy promise for me. And it's very sales heavy, right? People get on calls with you and they're expecting like guarantees and promises, and it's very sales heavy. You can't charge that much, and that's mainly because you're missing these two sections here, right? Which is stories and YouTube. So when it comes to building everything in a very concise way, obviously we've got the Creator 4 system. Now let me build that out for you guys so you can understand this in a more of a systemized way, okay? So we have ads, which is still short form content. We've got ads, right? This is kind of the most predictable way that you're going to be able to get traffic. Of course, you can also post organic short form content. I like to do both. In a matter of fact, we'll just do ads plus organic, okay? And this is short form content, okay? So I'll just do in brackets here. Maybe I can make the stroke width is already the smallest, but this is like short form content, okay? So this is the short form content stuff. Ads and organic. Jeez, that was horrible. Need to get better used to this pen, guys. So this is, oh, jeez. Okay, I can do this, guys. I can do this. Okay, so we got ads and short form content. That's kind of the first thing that you need to focus on. And of course, this is the kind of traffic generation, right? This is the thing that's going to get yourself the traffic. Oops. Noob drawer. Okay, we've got traffic. And now we need to kind of nurture them. So then we've got like long form content and stories, okay? So long form content plus I'll just do ST, stories. Okay, long form content and stories. And this is going to be nurturing, okay? I'll just write in the middle here. This is the C4 system. So this is just trademark TM. Okay, so traffic, nurturing, and then we have email. Now, email is another part of nurturing, to be honest, but it just separates the people that are just kind of, looking from the sidelines to the people that are really, really 100% interested in what you have to offer. Because if people give me their email, they reached out for a certain asset. So that means I know that they're watching my long form content. Okay, so we've got email. And these are the people that are kind of like, I'll just for the sake of this, these are kind of like more qualified, okay? Qualified. Okay, cool. These people are more qualified. And then we got the final part of the puzzle, which is kind of the sales aspect or the DMs aspect. Okay? So we got DMs. And this just kind of goes in a flywheel. Why? Because people become clients and then you can leverage them in the ads and the organic, the testimonials and stuff, and it just kind of goes in a circle. So now we have, let me just kind of give you guys a little bit of an overview. Okay, so we got ads. Oh, let me make this even bigger. So we've got ads and organic. This is like the short form content stuff. Okay, and then we've got nurturing. Let's do this orange. Okay, we've got the nurturing. Cool. Yeah, we've got the nurturing here. And then we've got the email. Let's do this blue. And I probably should have made this blue and slowly warmed it up, but it is what it is, because obviously these people are the coldest. And then we've got DMs, which is kind of get us the sale. So this is kind of the whole system when it comes to this. Now you might be asking yourself like, okay, Jay, that like obviously this is simple, right? This is the thing that I stand out to every other coach in the industry. Every other coach in the industry will give you this and be like, awesome, get some sales, like you know what to do now. That's not really the case, right? A lot of people will give you like a system or show you a Miro board with a bunch of different visuals on it. You'll implement it, and then you're like, but Jay, like I'm not getting any sales. That's why I talk a lot about shifting beliefs, because over time, there's going to be a lot of people, and I mean a lot of coaches that are doing the same thing as you. That's why I love to work with people that already have a unique angle to begin with. But the most important thing, oops, is this it? Okay, no, that's not it. As you can tell, guys, I'm struggling. Okay, so what was I gonna say? Why is it not? Isn't this the one to draw with? Wait a second, guys. Something is up here. Isn't it the one draw, right? Why is it not allowing me to draw? Okay, no. Let me just refresh this. Maybe. Okay, now. I don't know what was going on there, guys. So, we need to shift beliefs, right? We need to be unique. That's kind of the biggest thing that is kind of what belief shifting is it's just like being unique in some way, okay? So that means we're trying to shift beliefs, right? I call this like reality shifts. Because when people see your content, they need to understand like, holy shit, this person is doing something completely different. And I've never seen this before. That's how everyone needs to feel. They need to be feeling like this is the old way and this person's doing it a new way. That's essentially what reality shifts means. Is it's like comparing your way of doing things to be the superior and like different way. So in a sense, if there's a lot of people in your industry, let's just kind of break this down. Actually, I'll just break this down. Like, if there's a lot of people in your industry that is doing something that is kind of the same that everyone else is doing, try to do the complete opposite. For example, with coaching and business coaching, I saw everyone was doing these Miro boards, right? Miro boards with crazy strategies where they had like, all of these different pillars showing people all of this stuff, and they broke it down, and it was funnels and all this stuff, right? And I was like, that's cool, and it builds a lot of intrigue because there's all these cool pillars and all these like data. But I realized that most people were just not getting the right information because most people, they just want to make 5, 10, 20K months. That's what most people are. Most people just want to get, most people just want to get 5, 10, 20K months. And the information they were being given was either way too advanced or it wasn't serving them, right? They were just like getting confused. So what I realized is most people don't even have something that stands out in the market that allows them to attract the top 1% clients. So I realized most people just have to find something that's different and shift beliefs. And that's why I focused my whole branding and everything along that. And that's what's getting me clients and allowing me to grow my brand. So you might be a fitness coach, you might be a mindset coach, right? You might be in the fitness space, you might be in the mindset space, you might be in the dating space, whatever it is. And you're just kind of putting out a lot of content. And sure, you do get some compliments here and there, but you're not getting people like, oh my God, I totally understand what you're going for. I haven't seen anyone speak about this. I want to book a call to see what you're about. And that's what like a lot of people completely overlook. They start a coaching business like, I'm going to help people, I'm going to help men with dating. I'm going to help women with dating. I'm going to help women get fit. I'm going to help men get fit. I'm going to help you grow your business, right? And they completely forget like standing out or having something different than what people can latch onto, right? Because there's 4 main kind of pain problems in people's lives. You probably have heard these before, but it's health, it's wealth, relationships, and spirit. Okay? So what this means is you could be a fitness coach as an example. So let's say this is you. This is you got muscles. You got muscles. Let's say this is you and you're a fitness coach, okay? You don't hit leg day, That's so funny. You don't hit leg day, and this is you, and you're trying to offer someone a fitness coaching program. Obviously, it's going to improve their health, right? You're going to improve their health with fitness coaching. But are you going to help them also be more successful in their career? Maybe. Are you going to help people get fit so they can attract their dream wife or their dream partner? Maybe. Are you going to help people get fit so they can, do a hobby or be more spiritually enlightened because they have, you know what I mean? Like there's so many angles you could take your fitness coaching business in. You could help them get six pack abs to make more money. You can help people, get in shape to attract, the right spouse. There's so many angles you can take it. But if you focus on one core angle, that's going to make a huge difference. I'll give you an example. So there's a fitness coach. His name is Greg O'Gallagher. Greg O'Gallagher. And he's pretty big. He also goes under the alias of Kinobody. Um, and what he was, and by the way, like he's been in the space for a while, but he's kind of notorious. And basically, when he was starting his kind of fitness program and helping people with fitness, he was noticing there was a lot of people talking about being in the gym for hours, getting as big as possible, getting the six pack abs and stuff like that. And he just thought to himself, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to do different? And he looked around and was like, okay, most people, they don't want to get massive. They just want to be kind of like good looking. And he probably did a bit of market research. He was like, what do most guys, because he's a guy, what do most guys want to reach? And most guys were like, I want to look like Brad Pitt, right? I want to look like, Spider-Man. That notorious scene of Spider-Man in the mirror? He didn't look that great, but at the time everyone was like, damn, like I want to look like Spider-Man. I want to look like maybe even people like James Bond, something like that. And what did they all have in common? These were movie stars, right? These were people in the film industry that had like amazing shape. So he was like, okay, how can I make this my unique angle? Um, so he basically took this angle and said, I just want to help get people get in movie star shape. And that was kind of the ringtone. That was the ring that people like remembered him by. So whenever someone wanted to get in movie star shape, they just thought of Greg O'Gallagher. And he was like, okay, what do movie stars, what does their lifestyle look like? They're in great shape, right? They're in great shape, but they also do like adventures, right? They also go out, do cool stuff. Like fitness isn't their whole life. And, maybe they also attract beautiful women. So he was kind of, you know, changing his marketing to the male gaze here. I'm just gonna write women quickly. And then he was like, okay, this is what most of my audience want. They want to be movie star. They want to be in great shape, have adventures, attract beautiful women. Okay, so how is he gonna break this down? Okay, so he's gonna focus on most attractive body parts. So he's not just trying to help people be big and bulky and what some fitness coaches. He's gonna focus on attractiveness, right? So if you look at Kinobody, he's very focused on developing just wide shoulders and big shoulders. He's not focusing on chest and that kind of thing too much. He's not focused on being really big. He's focused on what can attract beautiful women. So that's a big part of his offer. Adventures. So he doesn't want fitness to consume your life. So he has a system where you just have to work two to three times. Oops, that was a funny three. 2 to 3 times. I did it again. 3. 2 to 3 times per week you have to go to the gym. Okay? Per week. And he said in the other days, do 10,000 steps, do intermittent fasting. And this was a breakthrough. Like now it's kind of normal to do 10,000 steps a day. But initially, everyone was like, what the hell? When he started, he was like, 10,000 steps a day, intermittent fasting? Like, how does that work? And it's like, yeah, I don't want fitness to overtake your life. I want it just to be like an add-on. I want you to be a movie star. I want you to go and do cool shit. And the great shape, that is kind of a bit like linked to this, but the adventures is to kind of do things outside of fitness, right? Do things outside of fitness. And the great shape is kind of connected to this, right? So essentially, Gregor Gallagher, Kinobody, he's like, okay, Kinobody, Brad Pitt, Spider-Man, James Bond, what do these people have in common? They're movie stars. They want to be in great shape, all of this. And then his messaging was like that. He was like, I don't want you to do steroids. I don't want you to go hours to the gym. I want you to be a movie star. He gave it an identity, right? He gave people an identity. The same I do. I want people to become reality creators. I want people to do reality shifting content and become a creator that makes 20K a month, has freedom, and is different and unique in the market. That's my identity. The movie star was his unique identity. And that made him stand out. So whenever he made content, he's like, I don't want you to, be bulky, go to the gym hours every week. I want you to be a movie star. Old versus new way. And that's what allowed him to stand out. Awesome. Cool. So you might be asking yourself, okay, Jay, sounds awesome, but like, I want more ways. I want like a roster of all the different ways I can do belief shifts and stand out in the market. Good question. So let's do that together. So there's a few different ways for you to stand out. And I call this the one niche. Oops, let me zoom in a bit here. So I call this the one niche. One niche. Okay, the one niche. So this is kind of my unique way. The funny thing is, guys, when you do use this pen, you know how normally when you draw, you can go on the side? When you go on the side, obviously it still registers it as being straight. So that's sometimes the thing you need to get used to. But anyway, so we got the one niche. Let me actually let me move this a bit over to the side here. Let's just move this a bit over. Let me extend this over. Okay, cool. So we've got the one niche. What is the one niche kind of comprised of? It's comprised of you plus your mechanism and your outcome. Cool. So let's do it. Let's do this, guys, as an example for Kinobody. Okay, so we've got you, we've got the mechanism, and we've got the outcome. Let's give this quickly a little bit. Just quickly. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I was trying to do that with my mouse, but it doesn't work that well. So we got you. I'm trying to make this pretty for you guys, okay? Look, I'm putting in effort. I'm trying to make my drawings look aesthetic. I want to be like the coolest drawer in the whole online space. I just want to be known as like, whenever I'm finished with like a lecture, it just looks like a masterpiece. So that's what I'm trying to get towards, okay? So you guys need to give me support, give me the time, give me the space for me to perfect this. Look, there's a little bit of white space right here, and I need to fill this out. Oh crap, now it's overlapping. Okay, this looks ugly. Okay, I'll keep it like that. Okay, so let's make this full stroke. So these are the different elements that you can use to stand out and be unique. So let's do it for Kinobody. Okay, Kino. So you, he tried to get in shape. I have to kind of summarize this because I don't want to make this long. But Kinobody, the story behind Kinobody was he tried to get in shape. He tried to get bigger, stronger as a natural bodybuilder. But as soon as he kind of took the usual advice, like go to the gym 6 days a week, train, push-pull legs, and repeat, eat more, he just kind of got burnt out. His body was burnt out. He didn't make any progress, and he lacked it, right? So his personal story was different. So he shifts belief through his story because he tells it. His values is he doesn't want to be in the gym all day. So those are the things: story, values, beliefs. That's kind of linked to values, and that's kind of the main thing. So like shifting beliefs can also be in your story. Like, hey, a lot of you guys are struggling with this and this, but this is my story, and this is going to be different. That you shift beliefs through these elements as well. His mechanism. Instead of doing 5-6 days a week at the gym. He's just 2 to 3 times at the gym. And people are like, holy shit, does that work? Can that get great results? 10K steps. That's also a unique mechanism. Intermittent fasting. If he wanted, he could have given it a unique name, but at the time he just called it this. Now, if you really want to take it further, he's got supplements now, and he calls it the Mojo. So sometimes he says like, "Are you on the Mojo?" So he has like different products, and he calls it a different name. That's technically a mechanism, a mechanism to get results. And the outcome he coined as being a movie star. Or he says, Kino body, Kino meaning movie. I want to get you in movie star shape. Like, and in terms of the outcome, he wanted people to be like James Bond or Brad Pitt. He gave them an identity to latch onto. Okay, so this is how he thought about things, and he wrote all of these down, and he was like, okay, how can I build my one niche so no one can compete with me in the market? And since then, he's done millions and millions, probably tens of millions of dollars with fitness coaching because he's been in the space for quite a while. And that's what built his one niche. Okay, so that's kind of ways that you guys can think about things. Okay, why is this? I'm trying to make it better. Oh, okay. I'm trying to be the Picasso. Perfect. Okay, so one niche. We've got our one niche. So this is the main things I wanted to cover in this video, is just kind of go crazy and give you guys all of these different sketches. But let's just summarize things. So we went from thinking that short form content is going to save our business to learning that it's a balance of different things, and short form content's main purpose is to get new eyeballs, but it's not really good for nurturing and converting. So we built this C4 system, the Creator 4 system, and we understand how to do that now. But we also realized that we can have a strategy, but it's not going to save our business. So we understood that we need to be unique. So we created reality shifts. We understood we need to compare the old way to the new way. I gave an example of how, I realized Miro boards was taking over, and I realized that wasn't the most important thing to get to 20K months. It's shifting beliefs. And I gave you an example with Gregor Gallagher to build your one niche. Is that cool? Hope you guys got some value from this video. If you have any questions about this, DM me on Instagram. If you want to book a call with me, a free 15-minute call, DM me the word one on Instagram. You can join my free community in my description as well. And other than that, guys, have an amazing day. Bye-bye.